just switching focus a bit to Indian Premier League. Of course, everyone's going to be waiting to see you in action as well in India at that point with RCB. Excited for another edition. It was a good season. Not probably just the way you'd imagined, but excited to get back with Virat and everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I was really enjoying last season. From a personal point of view, it's by far the best IPL season I've ever had, and there's been some, from a personal point of view, there's been some good ones. But this one, just in terms of how I felt like I evolved as a batter and the way that I played, really enjoyed that. So there's a challenge there to make sure that I can try and be at that level of performance again and that expectation, which is always a part of being at the top. And then from a team perspective, yeah, I thought we were excellent away from home. We played, we most probably won about 80% of our games away from home, which is a difficult thing to do. But in saying that, we weren't great at Chinnaswamy. So the reflection after the season we had was how can we get better in our home conditions. And that's obviously the auction that happened right now, and some of the trades that's happened. Feel like we need to be brave in some areas where obviously lose out on some unbelievably good cricketers in letting go of Hasaranga and Harshal Patel especially. But the franchises felt like there needed to be a big purse of money that is, you go into the auction with trying to make sure you go into the next season with at least trying to rectify some of the areas that you felt like you needed to get stronger at. And that was definitely for us, was a middle order batsman. And obviously with, most of the quality Indian batsmen, generally people don't release them. So we tried a couple of trades for some domestic number fives or number sixes, but there wasn't any luck in that. So yeah, the opportunity came with Chris Green, and he was probably at the top of our list for the auction, just because he fits the mold of what we were looking for, a guy that is a good enough all-rounder to bowl 4 overs, but doesn't always have to bowl 4 overs, but just good enough to bowl 4 overs. He's got pace, he's got bounce, and then from a batting perspective, he's probably up there as well in terms of the best all-rounders when it comes to number 5. He's young as well, so that's a great opportunity for the franchise to lock him in if he does well, obviously to retain him for the future. So, yeah, I thought that was a very good trade for the franchise.
Yes, it helped Mumbai Indians for sure, but hey, it's a win-win, so no complaints there. But Faf, I can ask this now because you've spent that one season with the Royal Challengers Bengaluru. You built a really solid relationship bond with Virat Kohli. We all saw that. Have you been in touch with him? Because we know the kind of person he is. He's always already planning for the next season. How has that panned out, and how is the sort of space that he's in currently?
Yeah, first of all, he had an incredible World Cup, didn't he? And I could almost predict that. You could just see the way that he was, the energy that he had before the tournament, the hunger for a World Cup at home. I think that things like that always plays a big part in the kind of player that you are, is how hungry you are. And Virat obviously shows that and leads that from the front always. So, yeah, really chuffed for him in the World Cup he had. He was incredible. And then, yeah, away from that, it's just been, he's always, I mean, we've got a really good relationship. So he's an important part of RCB and the think tank around it. So obviously there's a lot of hours that goes behind the scenes and planning and talking. And it's not always using up Virat's time for that, because he's playing so much. And I think the most important thing in the space that he is right now is just that balance of cricket, being fresh to bring his best, and then always getting that balance right with being at home with his family. That's really important for me as well, to make sure that you have that balance right. So including him when it was time to make some really big decisions, including him on the thinking that we had, asking his opinion on most of the stuff. And he obviously was aligned with everything regarding the thinking around releases, also creating some money to try and get the squad a bit stronger, and then also the trade of Cameron Green.
Right. Just a couple of questions, and we'll let you go for sure, Faf. One is, and this we can ask you now because you've spent enough time with CSK, and now you're already warming up with RCB, with the fans, and in the dressing room. How different are the two franchises? Both are really big legacy franchises. How different has it been? Because we know you share a close bond with both of them now.
Yeah, it's difficult to explain that really. I would say, yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that I could spend 10 years with CSK. I felt like there's a real um, loyalty around the fans with CSK. I mean, even when I wasn't there, it felt like I never left. So that loyalty is there, and there's a huge support base, obviously, for CSK and what they do. So yeah, I mean, I've said it so many times, but I always will keep going back to it. That extreme gratitude for that franchise and also the fans. I do feel that love everywhere I go in the world still today. And then obviously moving away from that into the franchise of RCB and also the fans. Yeah, there's just I feel there's a level of expectation as well from the RCB fans that they're so desperate for something of obviously a trophy. Um, and I get that. So that actually makes me um, hungry for it as well. You know, you want to go somewhere where no one's gone before. So that's really given me a sense of purpose to try and give the fans what they want. But we know the IPL is not an easy competition to win, but it's certainly, yeah, you do feel with the fans that there's a real passion, and I think it's a similar way of describing the fans. You know, I think if you look at Chennai and obviously there's a relationship with MS Dhoni. There's that one guy that's always been there that the fans just, I mean, he's everything. And then you go the other side, and there's Virat Kohli, who's always been there. And you probably can use the same example for Rohit at Mumbai Indians. So there's these two or three big players that the fans, I mean, the franchise really is about that player, isn't it? So it's very similar in that sense. But yeah, it's definitely a different feel to it, and both very lucky to be a part of.